Greetings, Saber fans. This is a special saber for Josh Church. This is a DV6 V1 and by Korbanth, and it is equipped with a DV6 blade plug, which is backlit with Neopixels. The blade retention on this saber is the eye to let your blade in and out. Simply loosen that eye and then turn in your blade or your blade plug and it's locked in. This saber is equipped with a Goth3D Designs chassis on the DV6. It has brass crystal chamber accents, and 2 real quartz crystals are illuminated in the crystal chamber here. Both of these are both backlit by separate LEDs. This saber is equipped with an on-off switch here. It is also equipped with a 2.1mm recharge port and a Smuggler's Outpost 28mm bass speaker. This saber is powered by Proffie 2.2 and is programmed with the latest OS, which is 4.5 as of this video. To charge the saber, take your 3.7 volt charger. You're going to first plug your charging port into the saber. Once your charging port is plugged into the saber, plug your charger into the wall. When the light turns green, usually on most chargers, the 3.7 volt battery is fully charged, usually at 4.1 or 4.2 volts. And then you simply remove your charging adapter. If the saber does not turn on when you remove the charging adapter, remember to turn on the switch. The switch is right here next to the recharge port. The access to your Proffie on this saber is underneath this sliding hatch, and once you slide this hatch back, it exposes the USB port and the SD card on your Proffie for programming. I highly suggest you leave the Proffie alone if you don't know what you're doing. This saber is fairly complex. It does have 2 crystals that are illuminated that mimic the blade. This one also has Neopixel accents that do their own thing while the saber's running. You can see they cycle up there and then they mimic the blade. So they'll turn red, and they also, on this preset, they do not mimic the blade, but in some of them they do. Like on this one. So I've got them programmed to do several different things. This saber is awesome. Let's roll that video of what this saber's capabilities are. This is a Korbanth DV6 V1 with a 7/8" blade that I built this saber for Josh Church, who is a member, one of the founding members of the Wilmington Police Pipes and Drums, and you know, he's an awesome guy, and he's a Darth Vader, and I built him this awesome Darth Vader saber, and I hope he's going to love it. Thing is awesome. So, first off, this saber has a lot of special features, and I want to go through them right now for you. Every Darth Vader blade on this saber and the Kylo Ren blade on this saber all have special features, and I'm going to show you what those special features are now. So number one,
4.08 volts.
Number one, we can ignite the saber with a twist, or retract with a twist. Or you can ignite the saber with the button, or retract with the button. Power button. Here we go, ignite. First feature I want to show you is Localized Lockup. Localized Lockup is, it goes with the angle of the saber. It moves with the angle of the saber. If you're up, it's down. If you're down, it goes to the tip of the blade. That's pretty cool. Second, you got lightning block by double tapping and holding power. There's your lightning block on your Darth Vader blade, which that's awesome. You have stab. And then the cool part is you also have melt. So you stab and press power. There we go. And when you have stab on and press power, you can change the color and intensity of the melt by twisting the hilt. You also have tip drag. By holding Ox while the saber is pointing down, only the tip illuminates. Which you can also use that for melt, but it's not user controllable with the twist. That's your tip illuminate. Blasters, every preset has blaster effects and force effects. Every preset also has music. This one has the hallway scene from Rogue One Vader, where you're in the movie basically. This saber also does multi-blast by press and holding. It's a double tap of Ox and hold. Every time you swing the saber, it triggers a blast. Like you're blocking rebels. To get out of multi-blast, press and hold. Now we're not blasting, but now we can, cut through the door. And we're retracting the saber. Next preset. The first preset is Father. This was the first one and I skipped it. This is the first preset, Father, by Kyberphonics. Clashing your saber. 4 sounds. Blasters. Lockup. And he has in-lock on his lockups. And this one has the emitter cooldown. Second font I've already showed you, which is K-Sys Crossguard. Next font, K-Sys Crossguard. Localized Lockup, which is responsive. Has all the responsive stuff you've seen. Blaster blocks, 4 sounds. Next preset. It's a white blade with a green lockup. Blue blade with a cool power-up feature. Red blade with a lead. Watch that lead. That's awesome.
For your own good, stay out of this affair.
BMF by Shameen, but modified. That's a lockup. 4 sounds. Retraction. There's another red with a different power up. Blue.
I'm from the Resistance. Your sister Leia sent me. We need your help.
That's a rain blade, so the background track on that is rain. And you have a rain blade, like rain's hitting the blade and cooling the blade.
Purple. Something inside
Oop.
me has always been there. Purple.
Cantina with a rainbow blade.
Yellow.
Cantina 2 to a rainbow blade. battery meter, which shows that you're almost fully charged, and the soundtrack on battery meter is the Mandalorian theme. If you're going to store the lightsaber, store it in the Rainbow Blade preset. That Rainbow Blade preset doesn't have any accent LEDs or anything going in the off behavior. So if you store it in the Rainbow Blade, you can store it without turning it off. Otherwise, make sure you turn your saber off. It'll remember whichever preset you turned it off in. So if you're going to turn it off, put it back on the first preset, which is Vader Father by Kyber Phonic. And then you can turn it off. And it's got the blade cooldown feature effect. Pretty awesome. This is an awesome saber. Let's roll that instructional video for you guys. Now that you've seen this saber and all its awesome capabilities, I want to show you how the button functions work. Number one, when the saber is turned on but it's an idle like it is now, the saber's not ignited, there are numerous functions we can do when the power is off. The first one is to press and hold auxiliary, which there are two buttons on this saber. This is auxiliary, this is power. Press and hold auxiliary until you hear voltage readout.
4.08 volts.
4.08 volts, that shows a full charge. The next thing we can do when the power's off, you can twist the saber to turn it on, and twist is back and forth, back and forth. You can also twist to turn it off. Or you can press power to turn it on. Oops. Power. Press and hold power to turn it off, or you can twist to turn it off. The other feature when you're in the idle mode like you are now is the volume on the fly menu. To adjust the volume, press and hold aux for 2 seconds, 1, 2. You're now in the volume menu. Power increases volume. When you're at full volume, you will hear that separate tone. That means you're in full volume. To reduce volume, you press aux, and you can actually hear the volume reducing on the saber. When you hear that tone, you're at full reduced volume. Increase volume. If you're ever hearing these beeps and the saber's off, the way to get out of this mode is 2-second press on aux. 1, 2. We're out of there. Now, the last function you can do while the saber is off is each preset has a soundtrack on it. To initiate the soundtrack, you press and hold power for 2 seconds. 1, 2. It initiates our soundtrack. You can also initiate the saber while the soundtrack is playing. Clash. Turn the soundtrack off. 2-second press on power. 1, 2. Soundtrack's off. Sorry, these sabers are loud. You can also initiate the saber in mute by press and holding. You're going to double tap power, but on the second tap you're going to hold it. 1, 2. Now the saber is ignited, but it's in mute mode, so it is running and everything works in there, but it's in mute. Turn it off, press and hold until it turns off. Oop. To advance to your next preset, press aux.
Be careful not to choke on. Kill them all.
White. Blue. Red.
This party's over.
Red. Blue.
Kylo failed you. I won't.
Purple. Yellow. Blue.
That is all the saber features except for... Oh, here we go. Now let's talk about when the saber is on. When the saber is on, you have a ton of features. Number one, let's reduce the volume a little bit.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
So you guys can hear me. Number one, to ignite the saber, you can either twist it, and now it's ignited. Now, to get lockup, you press and hold auxiliary. To get tip drag, you press and hold auxiliary while the saber is pointing down. To clash the saber, simply clash the saber blade on something. It will clash. This one also has stab. It also has melt. So if you press and hold power while you stab, you get melt. While you're on melt, you can twist the saber to get different colors. This one also has lightning lockup. To get lightning lockup, it's a double tap on power, but you're pressing and holding on the second tap. 1, 2. Now we've got lightning block going. Lightning block will continue until you release power. To get a force sound, double tap power and you get a force sound. To turn off the saber, you can press and hold power until the saber turns off, or give it a twist. And a twist is a back and forth. Back and forth. Quickly. Back and forth. That's your gesture activation and gesture retraction. Both twist. Those are all of the instructions for your DV6, Josh. I hope you like this thing. It's an awesome saber. When you store this saber, you should store it in the rainbow blade. Put it on the rainbow blade, ignite the saber, retract the saber, and you can store it long term. Or these hilts are so easy to remove the back from to get to the switch. I highly suggest if you're going to store this thing, up on the shelf in the long term, you go ahead and remove the aft of the saber and go ahead and turn your saber off. And when you turn your saber off for long-term storage, you won't have any battery drain issues. But if you leave it on, please leave it on the rainbow blade, because there are no accent pixels going when the rainbow blade is running. It's a good battery saving feature that I've made for you. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me or call me. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and may the Force be with you, or the dark side as it were.